So let's talk about some of these cases. Now, the first one, the one that has gotten probably the most attention, is the presidential immunity. The Supreme Court ruled that a president has immunity, which means that they can break the law with no consequences as long as they are doing it as an official act. If they're acting as a private individual, they are still held accountable to the law. But if they're president of the United States, they can break the law and suffer no penalty. What do you think of this? This, to me, is the most anti-American sentiment that I've seen from the court in a long, long time. I mean, in fact, even Alito and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, a lot of those guys, when they were being interviewed in the Senate hearings for the judicial nomination, many of those Supreme Court justices said then during their interview process that nobody is above the law, that we are all held equal to the law. And now, once they're in their Supreme Court position, they are now saying, nope, a president can be like a king. A president can unilaterally make decisions, and it doesn't matter if they kill people or they harm people or they violate the law. If it's part of their job as president, then that's acceptable. Now, they voted 6-3. The court is stacked with conservatives that Trump put in. And now we're bearing the fruits of this. Now, the Supreme Court, a lot of these cases are, again, it's like a mixed bag. There's some that I really like and some that I don't. This is one that I really don't like. I mean, the whole idea of the notion of having our own inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The implication there is that we have equal rights. That all of us are equal. It says that in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. And what that really means is that we're all equal in the eyes of the law. Some might say we're all equal in the eyes of God, which essentially means that those God-given rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, are for everybody. But what we're seeing now is that the Supreme Court says that a president of the United States can violate someone else's right to their life, their liberty, and their pursuit of happiness just because they're president. And this is obviously scary, assuming a Trump presidency, but this sort of thing's been going on for a long time. And we've seen President Obama drop drone bombs and has killed innocent people. He bombed a Doctors Without Borders facility in Afghanistan. He drone bombed a wedding. Some of these were American citizens that were attempting to hold accountable the law. Every one of them deserves habeas corpus rights, but instead the president just had them killed in the Middle East. Obama did that. And so we're seeing this sort of thing playing out, that presidents are above the law. It's not just a recent thing. It's not just a Trump thing, but it's a thing that's been going on for a while. But is that right? Should a president have immunity? If this is supposed to be a nation of the people, by the people, for the people, the person that's acting as president isn't supposed to be a king, isn't supposed to be a dictator. They're a representative of the people who are meant to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, how in the hell can they do that by being above the law? So this, I thought, was horrible. It also invites the question about immunity. There was a lot of discussion about this back in 2020 during all the George Floyd cases about police immunity and qualified immunity for cops. Should police have immunity? Should police be able to get away with breaking the law if it's in the course of their regular duties of their job? This was a controversial point, particularly when it pertained to George Floyd and whether that policeman that basically suffocated him on the middle of the street, whether he should have been tried for murder or not. But in a lot of cases, some of these cops are immune to being charged for murder. In some cases, that veil is pierced where they can sometimes hold police accountable. But again, it goes to the fact is who should be above the law, and are we all equal before the law? So this was a big problem from the Supreme Court, is granting immunity to the President of the United States. Because who can say what's an official act? What's official, what's unofficial? It becomes subjective. And as a result, you're going to end up having this whole thing spinned and warped, and you're going to have alternative facts and lies driving all of this. Okay, the